Hello, I'm Gerard Saylor. This is What's to Read from the LD Fargo Public Library, beautiful town, Lake Mills, Wisconsin. Here's two books you might be interested in. You might want to be staying inside and reading since it's -3 degrees outside right now. First up is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. This is a young adult novel that I read for the book club that the high school does here in town. Cafe Library or Library Cafe, I get the words mixed up. It's a good book. It's really very good. I don't read a lot of young adult novels because I'm picky and judgmental, but this was really well written. And as Bill Kreider says, he's an author whose blog I read, there's a lot of really great authors working in the young adult genre. And one thing I really like about some of these young adult novels is they really focus on the story and the characters. There's not a lot of superfluous nonsense filling up the story. I can't give an example, but trust me on it. And this is a good one. It's kind of got a sci-fi element to it, but it's very believable, and it's done realistically. And the main character is 16-year-old Katniss, who lives in the country of Panem. Basically, the United States was destroyed in some fashion, and this new country named Panem, P-A-N-E-M, rose up, and it's divided into 12 districts, and Katniss lives in District 12. And it's a very totalitarian government that they live under. There's not enough to eat. Nobody really gets paid enough. Starvation is fairly common in Katniss's district. And after her father died in a mining accident, they're actually in the Appalachians, she pretty much became responsible for the family because the mom went into a deep, deep depression. And Katniss would go outside the fence that surrounds the district, which is a capital offense. She could be shot on sight for going out to the fence. And she went out there as she had done with her father, and she hunted, gathered fruits, berries, nuts, twigs, whatever it was, and to supplement their diet and to also use as trade. And well, the really bad thing about Panem is that every year they have the Hunger Games, which are kind of like the Olympics and the Super Bowl and everything else all tied together. And each district out of the 12 districts has to pick 2 kids, ages 12 to 18, to be tributes, I think they call it. Basically, they're cannon fodder. What they do is they pick them by lottery, send them off to the capital district, which is like off in Colorado, and they fight to the death. It's a heartwarming story of blood and murder and guts and gore, but it's wonderfully done. And there's kind of the romance element there for the girl readers to like. There's kind of the guts and gore for the guy readers to like. It has a lot to think about there because she ties it in, the author ties it into reality TV, and because everything is televised, set in a wilderness area, there's cameras everywhere, and she knows she's always being broadcast all day, you never see the cameras. And the gamekeepers, the ones who control the game, have different ways to force the kids together, and so a lot of them will just go battling it out, and the other ones will skip out of there and go off in the woods, but that's not good for ratings, so the gamekeepers kind of set fires or have wild bears or something else to drive the kids towards each other, so they actually have to kill each other and therefore end the game. But this is really good. I liked it a lot more than I thought. Another one I thought that I wouldn't like as much as I did is James R. Benn's Blood Alone. This is actually the second or third in a series about Billy Boyle, who was a policeman about 21 years old, 22 years old. He was a policeman in Boston. And when the war broke out, the family conspired to get him a safe job in the Army. And so since his mom had an uncle who was a general, they got him a job on the general staff. Of course, it turns out that the general is the general, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Well, okay, not quite the general. You could say that was Marshall. But the general. And he gets him a job on the staff, and his police background tends to come in handy, and so they send him off on different kinds of investigative assignments. And in this one, he wakes up not knowing who he is, in an army hospital in Sicily, just a day after the invasion in 1943, summer of 1943. It's hot and it's dusty, and he's in his tent, and his head is just aching in pain. He can't move without massive pain going through, and he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't really remember much of anything. He's wearing a uniform. He knows he's in the Army. He can't remember his name. He can't remember his family. He can't remember what he's doing there. He can't remember his mission. He can't remember anything. And so this is really good as part of the series because it sits as a standalone really well, because you don't have to rely on past books in the series to kind of fill in the backstory and things like that. But Boyle wakes up, and a sergeant shows up and says he's the one who brought Boyle to the hospital, and he goes off with the sergeant, and things happen, and people die, and there's all sorts of drama. But it's really well drawn because you have kind of these two dual mysteries. There's Boyle, who's trying to recover his memory, which was lost by traumatic events, both physical and psychological. At the same time, his true mission in Sicily, which is to do with real-life aspects of the invasion, about how the U.S. Mafia helped kind of ease the way for the Allied forces by asking for help from the Mafia in Sicily. And so there's a really neat tie into that. Benn does a really good job just describing Sicily and how just the terrain and the people and how the Mafia is a daily part of everyone's life there. And just the historical accuracy about the being in the service at the time. It's really well done for the mysteries, and Boyle is a good character. You learn a lot about the guy when he's finding out all about himself. So that's a good novel. Quick read, James R. Benn's Blood and Bone, and also another quick read and good is Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. That's two books you might enjoy. That's it.